right. We are officially live. Hello, everyone. What's going on? Welcome back to the live stream. If you're catching this on the playback, I will be starting the stream officially in about 5 minutes. Just going to give people some time to congregate in the live chat, let the notifications go on. So if you want to skip forward 5 minutes in the stream, that should be fine. I'll play a little countdown. Hopefully the music and all that kind of stuff works out. I literally just downloaded this from YouTube right now, so I'm hoping that this all works out. I see a couple people in the live chat already. Give me a second. I'll do the countdown, and I'll come back in about 5 minutes. So I'll talk to you guys in just a second. Hello everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. I know it has been quite some time, and I see we got a number of people in live chat, so it's good to see all of you guys. I see some of you guys are here for the very first time. It's good to hang out. My name is Justin, and I run the channel That Christian Vlogger, and we do live streams, quote unquote, every single day. I've been traveling for like the last 3 weeks, and so I haven't been able to do live streams as regularly as we're supposed to be doing, but we're gonna try and get back into the swing of things. God willing, we'll be able to do this. I'm back in town. There's the holidays and all that kind of stuff, but we will try our best. So it's good to see all of you guys. Let me know what you guys are up to right now, how your day's been going. For me, it's been good. It's a little rainy and cold here, so I am drinking some nice tea as we get to hang out right now. It's a little late in the day for coffee, so I figured tea is a good thing to be doing. So what do we do on these live streams? Every single time we do a live stream, basically it's a live question and answer thing. It could be about anything that we want to talk about: life, about love, about faith, about the Bible, about just whatever. It's totally up for you guys to define. We hang out for about 30 minutes to an hour. We try to do them in the afternoon Pacific Standard Time, but I know for you guys, you're all around the world, so it might be make more sense for you to just turn on the notifications and bell icons so that way you know when we're going live. Real quick, feel free to leave a question in the live chat. As you can see, our questions show up here on the screen. So feel free to drop a question in case you want to chat about something or have a question about something in the Bible or whatever the case is. But real quick, before we do that, huge shout out to our patrons for helping to make this channel sustainable. This live stream is actually sponsored by our patrons, and so if you want to support and give back even as low as $1 a month, you can do that over at patreon.com/thatchristianvlogger. Or if you'd prefer the one-time thing, right under the chat, if you look to the side of the chat window at the very bottom, there's like a little dollar sign there. You can do a super chat and displays your comment up here at the front, and it's one way for me to know, hey, I definitely need to prioritize this question or comments because you've supported the channel. But also, it's just a way to say thanks for what you're doing, and it might be just a way for you to give back and to partner with us. So with that said, we're going to be hanging out for like the next hour or so. Emily is playing with Ronan in the background, so if you hear some scuffling around, it's because Ronan is running. Maybe later in the live stream I can convince Emily to come and hang out. But then again, she just did get back from a long day of work, and so we'll just let her decide what she wants to do. But with that said, it's good to see all you guys. Just got home not too long ago. I've been on the road. I was in Tennessee, then I was in Hawaii, and then most recently I was in California, and I just got back a couple of days ago. Been working a frenzy, been uploading videos, getting other projects done, and it's been a very exciting last couple of days. Things have been moving. I'll share with you guys more about that later. But let's go ahead and dive straight into the live chat, and let's start off with the first question that I see. The first question is coming in from Sammy Jones. Sammy Jones says, "Do you like to run?" I used to run a lot. Back when I first graduated from Bible college, I had no money, and I think I was making like $1,500 a month, which in the US, in California, Southern California in particular, is not a lot once you factor in like rent and food and all the other like utilities and travel and stuff along those lines. So I would run a lot because I had a lot of free time. And I would run 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons. I did a marathon. That's an interesting story. I did a marathon without training, and like got destroyed during the marathon. But then I stopped running for many years. This last Thanksgiving, though, I would like to say that I did do a turkey trot and did about 5K, which is a 3.1 miles, which was a good experience. Felt terrible, but it's good to be moving again. I'm trying to get back into the swing of fitness and all those different kinds of stuff. So yeah. Let's see here. Jurgen says, "What's up, bro? Do you miss Glendale?" Absolutely. Either we know each other from Glendale or you just pay attention a lot. But yeah, I used to live in Glendale, which is Southern California. Think about like around New Year's, they do the Rose Parade in Pasadena on TV. Glendale's not too far from Pasadena, and I was raised there. And I went to school at the same Christian school from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. And Yeah, I definitely do miss Glendale. I miss Southern California in general because all my family and most of my friends are there. So it's nice to be able to go back and travel. Incidentally, I will be traveling to California in about 2 more weeks. My little sister's getting married, and I have the privilege of conducting the wedding service. So I'm very excited about that. Johnny is saying, do you prefer Apple devices? It's off topic. Yeah, I do prefer Apple devices for sure. I'm shooting this on my iMac here. I've got the iPhone. Check this out. This little case. It's like a book, phone, wallet kind of hybrid case. Yeah, so I love Apple products. I've been using Apple since high school, or since I graduated high school. Nick, here's a good question. Any advice on dealing with the pain of breaking up with someone you thought you would marry? Great question. I have had that moment in time for sure. Some of the relationships that I've had in the past prior to Emily, I was fairly convinced that I would marry them. And that is hard. I mean, how do you deal with it? I mean, a large part of it is that you just hurt, and that's okay. Like, pain is okay. Emotional pain and turmoil, there's nothing necessarily inherently wrong or immoral or evil about that. You're not like less spiritual if you grieve the loss of someone special with you, whether that's through like someone dies or that's simply because the relationship fell apart. So I think a large way to deal with it is simply just being okay hurting. Like, that's totally normal. Beyond that, you gotta treat that with faith. Like, know that God has a plan, even though your plan wasn't quite the way everything ended up working out. Trust that God knows the end from the beginning. He saw this coming, and He's gonna lead you to that person who's better suited for you than that other person. The other thing that I would say is that you want to do your best to learn from the breakup. Chances are the relationship failed for a multitude of reasons, but try and figure out, why did the relationship fail from the areas that you can control? Because tendency is to look at the other person and say, oh, this person over there, they're immature, or they're playing games, or they just don't have their life together. And it becomes this thing where we blame other people as opposed to learning for ourselves. So my advice is, look inwardly. Think, how could I have improved? How could I have grown as a human being? And so what turns out to be, like, from this heartbreaking moment, every time you break up, it's actually a huge opportunity to grow and to develop your character. And so I think that that's kind of the way that I would try and look at a breakup at this point. KY says, yay, a live chat. Yeah, I know, it's been a while since we've been doing live chats for a while. Let's see. Meredith is asking, please help me. I need to know how I could separate time for the Lord when I have college time and friends and family in the way. Meredith, really solid question. One thing that I would say when it comes to time is that you never find time. You have to make time. You probably heard that before. If you simply just go about life hoping that somewhere there's going to be a window where you're going to be able to connect with God, that will only happen on a small percentage of your days. If you're not prioritizing time with God, and you're not saying, you know what, I will do this in the mornings, or I will do this in the evenings, or I will do it at a specific time of the day, it's easy for it to get crowded out. An example, I see people, I usually do my work at like a coffee shop or a bagel shop locally. At lunchtime, fairly regularly, I will see people come into the shop, they have their meals, and then I see them like engaging in conversation with each other and doing like Bible studies together. And it's really cool to see Christians out there taking a break from work and spending time in the Word together. So that's kind of the way that I would look at it, is where can you fit devotional time or spiritual reflection or meditation time? Where can you fit that into the course of your day? Some really low-hanging fruit is when you're commuting, when you're driving to and from work or school, pop in the earbuds, listen to a podcast, listen to an audio Bible, or something along those lines. For me, lately, I've been spending time journaling through the book of Romans, and that's been super helpful for me. So try and fit it into your normal day-to-day schedule. Roger 100 says, my girlfriend and I are believers in Christ, but we tend to struggle in sin, mostly with lust, and it's very difficult to not have those feelings when I'm around her. How do we remove that feeling? Roger, let me tell you something that probably other people won't tell you, is that you do not want that feeling to go away. that feeling of being attracted to the to the opposite person is a really great gift from God. Our human sexuality was in fact a gift for God. Now here's the problem. When you're single, obviously within Christianity, we have certain guidelines and paradigms upon which we want to set boundaries, right? That's where it gets challenging. How do we handle this attraction for the other person when we're trying to honor God with what we choose to do as well as what we choose to not do? That's hard, but the answer is not getting rid of those desires. I'm very, very grateful that God has wired that into my being and that I am attracted to my wife. Like, I think that's a huge gift. That's a blessing, right? Imagine the alternative where you weren't attracted to the person that you care about. That might kind of suck. And so I wouldn't say that you are trying to remove that feeling, but I understand like the heart of your question. How do you handle and how do you perhaps manage those intense feelings of lust? And one of the things that I would try and point you to, and this is kind of a reoccurring theme in our stream, we talk a lot about the importance of feelings. Feelings are good, but feelings are not Lord. And just because you feel something doesn't mean you have to do something. Every action is a decision. Every action is an opportunity to say yes or to say no to a particular thing. And so the feelings there, they're not really going to ever leave you, dude. Like, that's just the reality. But you can do this thing where you recognize whether or not this feeling is in fact you, or if it's perhaps like your sinful nature. Let me look up this text. I've been reading through the book of Romans a lot lately, and I have been studying it, and it's been like really exciting for me to learn more about this passage. And there's one passage in particular I want to point you to. Let's check out Romans chapter 7, and let's look at verse 14. See if you remember, if you can relate to this feeling and sensation, okay? We know that the law is spiritual, but I am unspiritual, sold as a slave to sin. I do not understand what I do, for what I want to do, I do not do, but what I hate, I do. And if I do what I do not want to do, I agree that the law is good. Notice this, verse 17 is a very interesting passage. As it is no longer I myself who does it, but it is sin living in me. For I know that good itself does not dwell in me, that is, in my sinful nature. For I have the desires to do what is good, but I cannot carry it out. For I do not do the good that I want to do, but the evil I do not want to do, this I keep on doing. Now, if I do what I do not want to do, it gets heady, I know. Now, if I do what I do not want to do, it is no longer I who do it, but it is sin living in me that does it. There's a lot to unpack here, and I think for me, I'm still studying through this chapter and internalizing it for myself. But one of the things that I've come to realize in this passage is there's this reality that Romans is describing. There is you, who you are, born again, born of the Spirit as a child of God, right? Then there's this other thing in you. And it's important that you realize that it's in you and that it's not you. This thing that is in you is called sin. When you have these desires to do things, when you have these feelings and sentiments of lust or anger or arrogance or pride or whatever these things are, right? Sin. That is not actually you. The way I try to understand it is, imagine, have you ever watched the movie, like I watched the movie recently, Venom. There's this guy and he's infected by this parasite that kind of acts through him. Okay? Now at the end of the movie he ends up like succumbing to it and just like embracing it, but that's kind of beside the point. What I'm trying to say is that that's what sin is. Sin is this disease that's infected you, that infiltrates the way that you live your life. So when you have the inclination to do something, you have the choice to either identify with that sin, with that thought, with that thing, or to realize that that thing that's coming up from within you is actually something from without of you. That's sin. And you have the choice to either identify with that thing or to reject it and in faith say, God, this is how I feel. This is what my emotions are telling me. And this is what even my mind is telling me, like, I'm this way. There's no point in me overcoming it. But I choose to reject that, and I choose to identify in the way that you have described me, namely as a child of yours. And I don't have to be a slave to that thing that I feel. And I choose to allow your spirit to live out within me instead of this sin within me. So how do you deal with lustful thoughts? How do you deal with this attraction, this feeling? One, realizing that that's actually a gift. It's not the worst thing in the world. But two, that when it's out of place, when it's in the context of something that God has not blessed, that's something that you don't have to be a slave to. You can control your response to it. You can say yes, you can say no. God has given you that freedom and the ability to do that. So that's kind of the way that I would say it. Andrew's got a good point. Andrew, thank you so much for hanging out. We got Andrew and Darth Vader in the chat, our mods hanging out. You guys are consistent. I've been gone for 3 weeks. Y'all have been here. I appreciate that. He says, our new reality is Christ, and the old version who sinned becomes foreign. Absolutely. Very good. Very good. Let's see. Sabrina is asking a question. How old should you be before dating as a teen? And can you kiss before marriage? Cody echoes the question. What about kissing before marriage? How much until it goes too far? Great questions. I've done a video on this very subject, on the idea about kissing before marriage. And I've also done a video on how old you should be before you get married. If you want to check out my channel archive, there's several videos on this subject, but let me answer the question. There is no perfect age upon which you are mature. Okay, and that's what I want you to focus on. It's not an age, it's maturity. You can be 15, 16 years old and be much more mature than a 20-year-old person or a 25-year-old person, right? What matters isn't your age. What matters is if your character is in a place that's conducive to a relationship, right? And you see this being reflected around different times in different societies at different times of Earth's history. Marriage in the past, at least in the States, used to be something that could take place at 14, 15, 16 years old. Other cultures, I'm sure it happens even younger. But the way that you and I have grown up in the society that we've grown up, we tend, and I'm saying we here, so this isn't an accusation on anyone, we tend to mature more slowly than perhaps generations that have come in the past. The reality is that you and I have been coddled in many ways. And so it's harder for us to mature. And so I would rather than answer what age is to ask you, are you actually spiritually and emotionally mature enough for a relationship? And even though you might say yes to that question, maybe an even better question to ask is the people who know you, your parents, your teachers, a pastor, a mentor in your life, would they agree? Would they say that you indeed are mature? Or would they say, you know what, you're a great person, but you still got a little bit of growing to do? So that's more of a nuanced answer. It's not as simple as saying, oh, 15, 18, 21, or whatever the number is. You got to look inside. Are you mature or not? Now, here's a question. You asked, one of the follow-up questions was, should you be able to kiss before marriage? Yeah, I think that's fine. There's no reason in the Bible that I would see that says no. Emily and I, we talked about this in our relationship, which is, I like to think, a fairly mature thing to do, is to talk about things, not just like let things happen. And we thought about this, namely because Emily's sister was one of those people who decided not to kiss until they got married. Is that right, Emily? Yeah. Her sister and brother-in-law, they had their first kiss at the altar, which, hey, if that's what you want to do, cool. But that seems like a very kind of like awkward setting to have your first kiss in front of like hundreds of people and your parents and your pastor and all that kind of stuff. But if that's what you feel led to, kudos to you. Like, that sounds, I guess, romantic in a certain sense. So we talked about it. We decided that we would wait to kiss, and we did wait like a whole summer. It took us several weeks or months or whatever. I forget the timeline. But we did wait. And later on, we did end up kissing before we got married. I think it's different with each couple. I think that's something between you and God and the other person. And you guys got to kind of navigate that for yourself. Ooh, Andrew, I like this follow-up statement. Very good, dude. The goal, this is in response to one of the previous questions, the goal is not to struggle with sin, but to put on Christ and trust that he is leading you. He overcame sin in human flesh so that you could experience it too. Very good. Well done. What do you think of raw meat eaters? Sounds unhealthy. I'm a vegetarian if you didn't know that. So eating meat, whether it's cooked or uncooked, in my opinion, isn't the healthiest thing in the world. As I say that, I just purchased a whole case of Bundaberg ginger beer. So, I mean, there's a certain sense that I need to get my life in order as well. But there are studies that show that the more meat you eat, the less you tend to live, kind of a thing. So that's kind of my perspective of it. Nathan Maid asking questions. Is there actual proof about the Bible and Jesus himself? And is there any verses about this topic? Yeah, Nathan, there is. Number one, Jesus is mentioned by several different historians. The historians that comprise up some of the New Testament writings are in fact historians. Those are legitimate historical documents, even if you reject them as inspired by God. But canonical or the historians who weren't in the Bible, Pliny the Elder, Joseph, no, not Joseph, what's the guy's name? Andrew, help me. The guy who's quoted a lot in The Great Controversy. Historians that why is this something? Josephus. I was gonna say Joseph, and then my mouth just wanted to say Joseph of Arimathea. That was obviously not right. Josephus is a Jewish historian. Pliny the Elder is, I believe, a Greek one. Let's see who else. The Roman historian Tacitus was another one, and so there's many different people who were historians that agree that Jesus was in fact a historical character. As far as are there verses to talk about the proof of the Bible, that would be kind of circular. So that's not the way that I would go to talk about the Bible as far as it being authoritative or not. For me, I look at things like prophecy as one of the major things. I did a video not too long ago with a friend of mine who was a former atheist who became a Christian because he studied the prophecies of Daniel chapter 2 and saw that the Bible actually accurately told the future for over like 2,500 years. So there's a video on that if you want to check that out. Different ways that you could approach it. But all in all, to answer your question, yes, there is historical evidence for Jesus, and there are at least reasons for belief in the scriptures and submitting to the scriptures as authoritative in your life. Whether or not they're good reasons is ultimately something that you have to decide for yourself. Let's see here. What do you think about Messianic Judaism? I think that is okay. Messianic Judaism, I think that they got the Messianic part right, but I think part of what Jesus did in his death on the cross was that he was fulfilling many of the Old Testament laws and rituals. And so to my understanding, Messianic Judaism is the type of Judaism that still observes feasts and rituals and things like that, while simultaneously believing in Christ. So, like, I don't see that there's anything wrong with that. I just choose to not celebrate the feasts anymore at all. Though, interestingly enough, I do have a friend who's a Christian who does celebrate the feast, not out of like compulsion, but simply because he thinks it's a good way to teach his kids. So who knows, maybe when I have children, if I have children, and then when I have children, maybe we'll consider keeping feast days. I don't know. Oh, speaking of, Madlove made a video about Josephus today. Very cool. I'm glad to hear that. Madlove does some good stuff, guys. You guys got to support Madlove for sure. Know any good recent videos on Daniel chapter 2? Andrew's asking. No, I don't. Honestly, my response, Andrew, because as you know, I've heard Daniel 2 dozens of times in my life. I've taught on Daniel 2 dozens of times in my life. So when I see a video on it, I just kind of ignore it because I've gone through it several times. But yeah. Sabrina's asking, does anyone know my live stream schedule? Generally speaking, around 4 or 5 p.m. in the evening, Pacific Standard Time. Sometimes I do morning streams. It just kind of hit and miss. I'll try and be more consistent now that I'm back home. But the easiest way to know is simply to be subscribed and turn your bell notification on, so that way you get a notification when I go live. My top apologetics books. Some apologetics books that I really have enjoyed is anything by William Lane Craig is really good. It's thicker. It's more challenging to understand, but if you like thinking through the arguments more deeply, that's a great one. Another one that I've really enjoyed, or actually another author that I've really enjoyed, I'm just kind of going by authors. William Lane Craig is one. The other one is Tim Keller. Timothy Keller is exceptional. Really loved his stuff. And who's the guy that does the ministry Stand to Reason? Is it Greg Koukl? Yeah, Greg Koukl. Anything by Greg Koukl is pretty good as well. So those are 3 authors that I would suggest that you check out. They have several books apiece, but it's pretty good. Let's see. Babe, come on over here. You want to help me answer this question? Yeah, come on over. So, Hope's got a good question. Yeah, bring Ronan up. Emily's coming with Aroni, our little puppies. What? He's sneaking treats, apparently.
What in the world is that, too?
What happened? I don't know.
That was something weird.
Here's Emily, everybody.
Hello.
And here's Ronnie's.
Oh, good boys.
Oh, here's my puppies. Okay, so here's a question coming in from Hope. She's wanting to know, what about the future? Reality versus expectations. I don't know if she means this like specifically for us, but I figured this would be a good time for us to talk about our expectations and hopes and dreams for the future. Let me redirect the camera.
Just over a little bit.
I have to scoot over. Can bring your chair in.
You were drinking tea now? Since when?
I'm drinking tea.
That never happens. I drink tea.
I'm drinking tea.
What is this? A hot thing?
Yeah, it keeps the mug warm. Isn't that nice?
That's weird.
So I got this thing right here that you plug into the wall, and the coffee mug goes on top, so it keeps the mug warm. So your coffee or your tea like gets to stay relatively warm. So it's nice.
You don't want the tea. Don't burn your tongue, Ronan.
All right, so let's talk about dreams, hopes, and aspirations for the future. I kind of want to know your answer to this question because we haven't talked about this. We haven't we haven't touched bases in a while.
We talked about it this week.
Okay. Well, what was it? What did we talk about this week?
Just like eventually, like me working with the ministry more and not having to work full time and stuff like that.
No, hold on. First off, we need to refine your language. You keep saying that we don't have to work full time. If you're working with me,
I know,
you're working full time.
I know, a different type of full time.
A different type of full time.
Yeah.
I just want you to manage your expectations here.
Well, I mean,
you're not just gonna be sipping margaritas on the beach while I'm working.
I don't drink margaritas.
I know. I'm just saying.
But yeah.
Oh,
but
I gotta
like,
fix the focus on this.
Like more and more this week, I've been thinking about kids.
What?
Yeah.
How do I?
Yeah, it's weird.
Wait, why?
Just cause, like.
Hey guys, you heard it here first. Oh, now that's really dark.
Like, I just think it'd be awesome to have like little YouTube stars. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
No, I'm just like.
Okay, so you want to have kids. This is like the first time I've heard this. Why do you want to have children? Please, no one send this video to my mother.
Cause like it's like to just have like your own offspring and to like teach them, and that's pretty cool. I don't know.
Little YouTube stars, Meredith says. Wait, yeah. Okay, so you want to have kids, or you're thinking about having kids.
Yeah, it's like popped into my mind more recently.
Okay. What else are you thinking about for the future?
Just like what my, I mean, I know kind of what our goals are together, but kind of like what my,
So what are your goals?
well,
Stop talking about what you're gonna
yeah,
say.
I know,
Say it.
I know. It's hard.
No, it's not. You just use English.
No, it's hard because I don't even know what my dreams are sometimes. I'm like, is it to be a mom? Is it to be like
So think
travel
it out,
the world?
think out loud. What?
Yeah, sometimes I don't know what my dreams are because I feel like my personality is just such a supporter role that I support people.
Sergio says,
what
"Don't
they
have
do.
kids yet. Love you guys."
Yeah, I not right now for sure, but like unless something happens.
What is
God.
going on with the focus of this camera?
Unless God,
Sorry, guys.
like,
Let me fix that.
changes something.
Okay. So you don't think that that's what it is?
Well, not right now, at least. But
How do I manual focus? There. Now it won't move so much.
What?
Galactic Genesis says we are your kids.
oh,
Over there says you guys would be cool parents.
thanks.
Thank you. So I mean the idea of having kids is an interesting idea to me. Like I think that would be fun. I'm just scared to press start.
Yeah, I know.
Because once you press start, there's like no taking it back. Like you just have to go.
Yeah,
Like-
but I think people who like are scared of having kids, but then once they finally have kids, they're just like, oh, I wouldn't do it any other way. Like I've never heard someone say, oh, I would like take that back and replay it. Like I think especially when you're following God's vision for your life, like he will prepare you at the right time for that. You know, whether that's now and it's an accident because we're not planning for it, but maybe God is having us grow through the, oh, I don't feel like I need this right now, but he's placing that on us right now because we need to grow and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't doubt that that's the case. Like that's how I feel about Ronin. Like getting a dog is kind of scary, but I'm like, let's just get one and like we'll figure it out. And we largely have, I want to say.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to go back to life before we had Ronin because I
Yeah.
think he's just awesome.
Exactly.
But I also have to think like, man, like if we're going down to California, like for example, we're going to California in 2 weeks. What's gonna happen with Ronin? You know, like what do we do with him? Like
parents
Jordan,
are gonna watch
my
him.
brother asked, like, oh, you can take him, and so like it just makes things more complicated. It makes a lot of things more complicated.
I think we're really blessed to have very supportive family. Like your mom and dad would like love to watch our kids, but they live in California, and my parents watch my nephews all the time for my brother. So very supportive family. That, yeah, you know what I mean. We could be in a worse situation where our families like are not in the picture.
Yeah, and that would
Yeah.
suck. So
Yeah.
my point is that like I'm sure if we decided to have kids, that we would figure it out as we go. Because like I mean, you're never really ready, right?
Like I always envision myself like, even if we're like planning to have kids, and then once I'm pregnant, like reading all these parenting books.
No.
Just because I'm like,
oh, speaking of books,
yeah, I know. I'm reading it
you're
tonight.
not even on chapter 3
I'm
yet.
reading it tonight.
Look, guys. So how long? It's been at least a month.
No, I haven't been a month.
Yes, it is, 'cause I've been gone for a
No, I
month.
haven't.
It's been at least a month since Emily and I sat down. We're like, okay, we're gonna find a book. We're gonna do a video series together. Speaking of, this is the book that we're gonna be doing. It's called Reading People
I was gonna read like 2
by
chapters
Anne
tonight.
Bogle. It's been a month. Her bookmark
That's not my book.
is on chapter 3. Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Why does it have your notes?
Oh, okay.
I went downstairs because I wanted to look at it. I don't know where my copy is.
You
Anyways,
stink.
the point is, you're only on chapter 3. So
I
this
think we
idea
could-
that when we
okay.
have kids and you're like freaking out because you don't get any sleep at night, you're not gonna read any books.
Well, I know not probably when I have kids, but preparing myself before kids. I think
You got to get started sooner because you don't even have the habit of reading. Period.
I know, it's bad. I like to listen to things more, but yeah, it's bad.
Galactic Genesis is asking, should we read it together? No, the reason why we're not reading it together is because I actually want to do a video series with her. It'll be like 10 parts or something like that, where we go
Yeah.
chapter by chapter talking about it. And we're gonna like have our conversation for the very first time on the subject on camera. So you get like a very real reaction and kind of response to the content. So speaking of which, describe the 2 chapters that you've read so far.
Well, the most recent one I read was about introversion and extroversion, which was
So that conversation we had 2 weeks ago about introverts versus extroverts.
No, it wasn't two. It was last week I read it. I read it when you were gone to California, which was last week.
Josh Estrada, what's up, dude? He says, let's go eat to that brunch place again. Yeah.
The doggy place?
Yeah. Oh, that's the one that we brought Ronan with, and he was like
out.
freaking out. Oh, that was miserable, dude. So Ronan is a great dog for the apartment. He's a terrible dog for taking him out in public. And it was just like
horrible.
We went out to lunch with Josh, who's in the live chat right now, and it was a miserable. I think like every 5 minutes, you and I were swapping in and out who's gonna go take him on a walk, because the moment he's in the area where all the other people are, he's just like wailing
like,
and
yelping
like
and stuff.
Oh my gosh, it's so annoying.
Yeah.
Galactic Genesis says this whole stream is going to be an Audible sponsorship in the end. Yeah, so check out audibletrial.com/thatchristianvlogger if you want to get the book, read along with us. You get the audiobook for free. So are we going to have a deadline when you're going to be done with that book so we can shoot the series?
I think the way we should have done it is like read a chapter each week and have a deadline.
No, because we need to know where the book is going.
But I'm so bad when you put like this huge book in front of me.
Okay, so hold on. So you would rather we shoot on 10 separate days than shoot on like 1 or 2 days and just shoot all of them? Because that's what it would look like. It's way. I mean, I'm okay doing it either way. I was trying to help you out. This is what our life is like. Emily is just indecisive in everything.
That's why I'm an introvert, because introverts take longer to make decisions.
Okay, so make a decision.
Well, I think that would have been easier as doing that. Like, oh, we can read
do
one
it that
chapter
way.
a week and then we shoot a video. Like,
but here's the thing: then you got to get like all dressed up and prettied up if that's what you want to do for the videos.
I look fine right now, right, guys? This is fine.
I didn't say you didn't, but I'm saying that you would have to do that.
This is after a day of work. My hair looks
10
like
times.
This is good. Good. This is good. Yeah. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up or thumbs down.
No makeup on, hair like this. Yeah.
No makeup, no hair.
Yeah.
I was watching this YouTube video earlier of this one like streamer that like does video game streams, and she's usually like massive makeup, and then she did like a Twitter post where she had no makeup, and the difference was like mind-blowing.
That's crazy. Like if you like wear tons of makeup all the time, then
you have to do that for the rest of your life.
That's crazy, because then people just see that all the time, and then it takes up so much time in the morning, which is hard.
So this was her without makeup, and that here in the corner is her with makeup.
You look horribly different, actually.
I think for a lot of dudes, when they see something like this,
oh yeah,
that's a huge. I gotta show you. How do I can't do that. I don't know how to do this. This is gonna take too long to figure out. But that was like mind blowing. I was just like, oh my goodness. Like, I feel bad for a lot of dudes who don't know that that's what makeup does, and so they think that these women that they're chasing after are like. And then
yeah,
I just quite discouraged
because we're going to a wedding next month, so I bought like this I've never done this before, like contour kit for my face, which I'm excited to just try it.
Do some clown cosplay.
No. Anyways, I've never done that before, but that would never be a daily habit, because my morning routine, guys, is legit like 5 minutes. I take like that.
Hold on, sorry. Here's everyone affirming you, babe. You asked them about that. They say you look great, Emily.
Okay, good.
She's always pretty fool. Girl, you rocking it. You look great, Emily. You're so pretty.
Do you guys prefer like no makeup or lots of makeup, or in the middle? I want to know what you guys think, because some people just prefer different things.
Yeah. What
do you prefer? I never really asked you that. Like on Sabbath, would I like dress up for church? Do you like it with makeup and stuff?
I don't care too much.
But then today I just put a little bit of eyeliner on, because I have really light eye features, so I'll just like put a tiny bit of eyeliner on, and that takes like 1 second. That's about it. And then a little, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone's saying no makeup, no makeup.
Just the way you are.
Oh yeah.
'Cause you're amazing.
Yeah, I don't know that makeup. I really care. I mean, if you put it on, cool.
Yeah.
If you don't, like, cool. Like, I don't know.
I think there's
my honest reaction with you, when you put on makeup the way that you've been doing it for the last couple of years, I honestly don't notice the difference.
Really?
Like, I can't, like, I don't know when you've done it. or when you haven't.
That's 'cause
Other than this, guys, this is what Emily does literally every single time you put on makeup. You come up to me, like right up to my face, and you start like doing these butterfly eyes, and you go,
no,
and she's like, and just blinking. And I'm like, yes. And obviously, what she wants is she wants me to affirm, you look beautiful.
For me,
But
there's like,
unless you do that, I don't know that I would notice.
Yeah, interesting. You never notice when I do my hair. You notice when I got my hair lighter, though.
No, I wouldn't have.
When I got my hair lighter?
I wouldn't have. Like,
no, I FaceTime you when I got my hair done, and you're like, it's
the only
blonde.
reason why is because you FaceTimed me. Because I know
Oh.
that you don't normally FaceTime me like that.
You noticed. I didn't say anything. Anyways, but I think personally there's something about like dressing for success, like not saying you have to wear like a dress every day and nylons and heels. Like I never wear heels.
Yeah, me either.
But like if I go to work and I like didn't do anything with my hair, like it's like up in a messy bun and I just rolled out of bed and I go to work, I just don't feel as alert that day. I don't feel as like kind of confident. I don't know. You guys know what I mean? So like even like my 5-minute routine like really helps me be kind of like in that good mindset for the day. I don't know if you guys kind of are that way, but does that, I mean, if you roll out of bed and go to work, does that?
Nope.
No, that's fine. Well, for me, I'm interacting with like lots of people during my day, and you are in a different aspect, but like I'm physically interacting with people.
With a couple hundred people right now.
That's true. Yeah. But
it is very different though. It doesn't feel like I'm talking to a bunch of people.
Yeah, so there's just, and like I do enjoy like dressing up, you know. It's fun.
Cool. Well, hey, real quick before you go, where's that book? Give us a reason why we should care about this book, because I don't know anything about the book really. If you were telling a girlfriend why she needs to read this book and convince them to buy it and get their life potentially changed by it, what would you tell them?
A convincing argument?
Yeah.
If you want to just know about your personality better and how to like meet someone new or meet your future spouse and kind of read their personality and like strengths and weaknesses to personalities, I think it's really helpful, because especially reading like the introversion extroversion chapter, I'm like, oh wow, I really am more introverted in the way I think, the way I process things, and that like I kind of knew that all along, but it brought new things to light too. So I don't know, it's really good. Yeah, if you like books about personalities. So.
Caitlin is asking, what is the book called?
Reading People.
Reading People by
I can't see the back.
Anne Bogle.
Bogle.
Anne Bogle. And you can get the book for free. What is he doing? Oh, he's biting on the clicker.
No.
You can get the book for free at audibletrial.com/thatchristianvlogger. It's actually one of the ways that you can support our channel and makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
I just got the Audible check in the mail or in my email recently, and it's like, oh, that's nice. I can buy gas with this. Like it's
just
like,
about that. Yeah.
Thank goodness.
We need gas money.
Yeah. So that's the book. Check it out. We'll be doing a video series. So are we gonna do it one by one by one? Is that the story? No. Hey, don't put that in his mouth. We can do it one by one then. Because then we can get working on it right away.
Yeah, we can do one on Sunday.
All right, guys. You heard it here first. We're going to go and do it. We'll probably shoot like the first 3 before I start releasing them, because chances are she's going to slow down. But can we say that we're going to have the book finished before the new year?
No. Then that means we have to shoot a lot during Christmas break, but...
Yeah, it's vacation.
As long as we do like, okay, 2 hours of only 2-hour time block.
No, so the way that I want to do the videos is that we set a timer for 15 minutes and the video's done.
Oh.
Like it's just like live talk,
just
like this.
Oh, that's fine. That will be easy then.
Okay.
Because I just like, oh guys, the thing about YouTube and me speaking on YouTube is like, I do not like 5 million takes for a video. I just get frustrated. I'm like, because for me, like I say things different each time. So it's like, oh, that was a really good time I said it, and then maybe you messed up that time, like, oh shoot, like what did I say, you know? So I really enjoy like the live stuff more.
Yeah, my intention with those is that they're just live style,
yeah,
keeping in all the goofiness and all the stupidity and all the mess ups, like just a real conversation.
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Thanks for hanging out.
Okay, bye, Ronnies.
Alrighty then. How do I fix this setting? Okay. I fix the camera. Blah, 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 blah. All right, there we go. We're looking good again. All right, guys. So with that said,
Bye.
bye.
Forgot to say bye. How rude of me.
Yeah, you are rude. Okay, let's keep on going. Let me. Sorry, I ignored the chat for a little bit because I thought that was a fun time to chat with Emily about something we haven't chatted about yet. Let's see. What about these signed? Meredith is asking. Okay, so this is something I see a lot on YouTube comments in Christianity. Signs like this, 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 or this. A lot of times people will say things like, or this one. A lot of times people say that if you make certain hand gestures, it's like Illuminati or Satanism or any of these different kinds of things. That's actually not the case, or at least not when I'm using those signs. That's not my intention by those things. Certain people might use it for negative things, but like there's a context, at least in America, for each of those sign language things. Okay, this in American Sign Language is I love you. I-L-U. Okay, this is how you say in American Sign Language for people who can't talk. The way that they say I love you is by doing this. Okay, so that's what that one means. This one means, I don't know what this one means. This is like what they do at rock concerts. This one might actually have some pagan origins. I don't know. But I think it's just like a way to like give props to or something like that. This is like hang loose. This is like Hawaiian culture, like shoots, bro. Like this is kind of cool. This means Spider-Man. I love that. That's awesome. This is peace, or like just, yeah, peace. This is victory is another one that this stands for. This is not American Sign Language, but it's understood as being okay. So like when divers go down underwater and they're checking each other and they're making sure that everyone's okay. Obviously, if they're underwater, they can't talk. So how do they know if you're okay? You do this. This means okay. So, and then this one is a Star Trek thing. That's like Spock, right? Or something along those lines. So yeah, the point is that no, like when YouTubers are using this is not like an evil thing. Like this isn't evil. This means like good job or okay. Like it's a way to communicate in at least the US, and I guess it's traveled across the world as well. So yeah, like ease up on the whole Illuminati stuff. People get really upset about that kind of thing online, and it's really quite frustrating. It's kind of annoying. Oh, turn off the autofocus. There you go. That way it's not searching constantly. Excalibur, really great question. I'm struggling to find God. Do you have any tips for people like me that still do not believe but really want to? Awesome, Excalibur. You know, you're not the only person in the world who's ever felt like that. There is a story in the Bible that talks about this kind of an idea. Let's go to Mark chapter 9. And let me put that up on the screen for you guys. Mark 9 and verse 23 is a really cool passage. Let's see here. Let's start at verse 20, actually, for context. The story is that they bring this boy who is possessed to Jesus. He falls to the ground, rolls around, foaming out the mouth. He asks the father, how long has he been like this? He answers and says, from childhood, it's been often thrown him into the fire, water to kill him, etc., etc. Jesus says, everything is possible for one who believes. Notice the father's response. Immediately, the boy's father exclaimed, I do believe. Help me overcome my unbelief. I really like this passage because it shows kind of the duality of faith that most of us tend to exist within. On one hand, it's like it would be awesome if every moment of our life we lived this life of faith and just like there was nothing that could ever shake us from that. But chances are that's not actually what happens. And then on the other end of the spectrum is like this complete abandonment of faith, and like you're just like complete skeptic and just like, oh, there's no way, and like you're kind of angry and belligerent about it. But most of us aren't on either one of those spectrums. Most of us kind of exist in the middle, and in the middle it's like I believe, like I trust, but I also have a lot of questions. I have a lot of doubts. I have a lot of things that I'm trying to work through. And what I love about this story is that Jesus is like, yeah, that's cool. Like, I'm okay with that. And so my response to you then is that, you know what, listen, it's fine to have wrestlings with questions and doubts. Rather than have those questions and doubts drive you away from God, I would challenge you to allow them to drive you to God, to cause you to seek out community, to cause you to ask questions, to cause you to pray, and all of these different things. I think that this is a very valid response to doubt and unbelief. And so I would challenge you in those moments that you're struggling is to run towards God, to seek out community, to pray more, to spend time in the scriptures, and allow God's word to wash over your life. Uwu's saying, I'm dealing with spiritual burnout and I'm asking God to break me if it is necessary. It's a very brave thing to be praying, Uwu. Good news is I've actually created 3 videos on spiritual burnout and like depression, literally, that were released in like the last week. 2 of them are on my channel, and the third one is actually on my friend Jeff Evans' channel as well. So there's 3 videos that you can check out on this exact subject. Sabrina, when will you do a video about annihilationism? She's asking. I'm really stoked that you asked that, because quite literally today I shot a video on annihilationism. Now, it's not going to be ready for publication in a while because I'm actually doing this in partnership with a friend of mine. And so I'm kind of waiting on the timetables for all that to happen. But I want to say early-ish 2019, I'll be releasing videos on annihilationism and other such subjects that are going to be a little bit more controversial, but will drive us deeper into the scriptures and challenge a lot of us. So I think that that's going to be a lot of fun. So hang in with me, Sabrina. I'm excited about it. Like, I'm super stoked about it because I literally shot it this morning, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. So patience is a virtue, and I appreciate it in you. Thank you very much. Let's see. Joy says, I have those spiritual highs and lows too. I actually thought I was bipolar at one point. You're not alone. Really glad to see you guys, reaching out to you guys for sure. Confession time. I've been diagnosed as bipolar when I was younger. I have struggled with intense highs and intense lows, being suicidal at times. Like, I know what that's like, but the great news is that even amongst all those things, like, God like reigns over all of it, and he's able to sustain you even when you're feeling low. So you don't have to feel abandoned or feel less than if you struggle with that. Like, God's there for you too. Josh says, let's collab on a future creativity talk. Yeah, dude, Josh, that would be fun. I'm actually heading back to California in 2 weeks. I'll be there for a couple days at least, maybe about a week. Let's connect and let's do something. That'd be super fun. Am I going to do another live stream tomorrow? Chances are tomorrow I will do another live stream. We're going to church tomorrow. That usually takes us through the early afternoon, but if we have nothing else to do around 4 or 5, we will do another live stream around that time. So yeah. Martina, is it possible to know who God's sheep are and who are not supposed to follow him? Martina is asking. I don't know that that's really a question that you and I are ever intended to have the answer to. Let's look at the book of John. Let's see here. John chapter 21. And let's see verse 20. Here's an interesting passage, okay? Peter turned and saw that the disciple whom Jesus loved was following them, aka John. So Peter sees John following him. This was the one who had leaned back against Jesus at the supper and had said, Lord, who is going to betray you? Then Peter saw him and asked, Lord, what about him? Notice this. Jesus answered, if I want him to remain alive until I return, what is that to you? You must follow me. The King James Version says it a little bit more cryptically, but I think it applies better in this. If I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to you? Follow me. In other words, the point of this passage is, listen, Stop looking to other people. Don't worry about what that person's doing, what that person's not doing. Like, you and I have one thing to do, and that's to keep our eyes fixed on Christ. Don't worry about anyone else. Like, you just pursue Christ with your whole heart, and everything else falls into play. So that's the way that I would approach that. Like, do we get to know? Maybe, maybe not, but who cares? That has nothing to do with what you do. So Ronan is trying to tell you something. Yeah, actually what Ronan is trying to say is that our 1 hour is up, and I guess it's time for me to go so I can spend some time with the family, and I need to eat some dinner and hopefully even go to the gym later tonight, because I didn't go to the gym this morning. I mean, I'm trying to be on that healthy grind and all that kind of good stuff. Anyways, hey guys, thanks again for hanging out. I appreciate all the love and support, and for just hanging out, even though I've been gone for a couple of weeks. I will do my best to be back regularly for the live streams, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Put on your notifications, and we'll come and hang out a little bit more. With that said, mods will hang out for a little bit and answer any prayer requests, or offer prayer for anyone who has requests, I guess I should say. So feel free to type in a prayer request, and we'll have someone be praying for you guys. We'll catch you guys in the future. Josh, see you, buddy. Love you too. And appreciate all of you guys. See you guys in tomorrow's video. Oh, real quick, before you go, there is a video that I posted, which is kind of a little bit more different from most of our videos. Most of my videos tend to be like teaching videos. This one is a daily vlog. It's like an actual proper vlog where I run around and share with you my day. And I'd love your thought on that. Let me pull it up right now. I'm going to stick this in the link to the live chat. And I'd love for you guys to let me know what you think about the video. If you'd like me to do more of this style, where you get to follow me as I'm doing things in life and traveling and all that. Hey guys, today's episode actually takes place in Baltimore, Maryland. There you go. And I'll link it into the live chat. Feel free to check it out, to like it, to share it, to give me some feedback. Let me know that this is something that you guys value and want to see more of. If so, I'll consider doing a few more moving forward. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys in the future. God bless. Love you all. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.